Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of the show, Trek Wednesday, stardate 2017.067 at 22:17 Eastern Standard Time. I'm joined here tonight by one of our VIP guests from the kinetic community. This man brings more booms to the table than Boom Shalakalak ever did in any single dance song, track, or album. Aponte, say hello to the audience out there.
Hey, everyone.
And as usual, joined here by some of our greatest casts in all of STO, from Console Land to Scienceville. We'll start off over here with our Chief Research and Development Officer, Darth Protius. Say hello to everybody.
Oh boy!
Are you just trying to, suck up to Maria a little bit more? Because you know she likes that.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a night. And from Console Land, specifically PlayStation 4, we have the man of the hour here, hosting JZH Gaming. It is JZHD's Nutz.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And he's so serious when he comes over that thing there, man. That's awesome.
I can't do the Mickey Mouse voice. I'm sorry.
No, don't. You actually have balls. That's why they call you these nuts. So you're good. And our chief of cheesy tactics, who misses Captain Snipey 47 Alpha so much, even though he's dating MJ Bird, Captain SOB.
I still don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
Oh, that's supposed to be a secret relationship. I got it. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's all good.
Should have played that song Secret Lovers right about that point.
True. And squeezing in at the final hour over here, it's somebody we used to, I don't know, man, some Admiral or some Intel, something. Although he's been going back and forth in time with ARC. Sarcasm Detector. Oh, Sarcasm Detector is here. Say hello to the audience. I see you're very happy.
Yeah.
Not enough gravel, bro.
This is the one who sounds like Mickey Mouse.
You know what? It's okay. This will make you even happier. Just go watch this guy's films. Our chief emergency role-playing hologram was put out so much good material, it'll even make you smile and make you so happy you'll actually enjoy Mickey Mouse. We're talking about ZEF from ZEFilms.
Who just restarted his computer.
Brilliant! It wouldn't be the show without some sort of technical difficulties, but we're enjoying it. He'll be back here anyway. He's enjoying a lot of his, how should we say this, newfound fame with his do a barrel roll. Why do people like the stupid videos? I don't get it.
It's quick.
It's hilarious to see something that big do a barrel roll. Come on.
So many
all
jokes,
he has
so
to do
little
is,
time.
he has to get some kind of phallic ship and make it go in and out the space docks outside of ESD.
You already did that. It's Cam. He's not going to steal your material. Unlike some other people who steal material, he's not going to be one of those guys.
We have a new person on the show. I know I've been out for a while, but
Yeah.
It's JZH Nutz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
They haven't been hazing you, have they?
Not yet.
Not too bad. I usually give it right back though, so
That's why
It's
he was
good.
welcome.
It's good because we were still in the process of hazing Protius, and you know what? I like you, so any hazing that will be going towards you, we'll just transfer it back to Protius. He deserves it.
perfect.
Shut up, noob. Whatever, man. You haven't been around to see jack shit.
I know, right? He doesn't even play any of the games we play anymore.
Well, which we're not going to knock him on because they haven't seen much of a difference between when he's last played and now. But coming down the pipeline is the continuation from the ground revamp, and it's going to be extended into space. So for everybody out there, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, drop them over on Reddit, drop it over on the forums. We are going to organize them and put it out there into as a big questionnaire over to Cryptic Studios, They may not be able to answer everything that we ask, but something will at least come out of it. Something.
I want to say something here.
Please do.
I've seen some people online saying that, the space balance is going to stop people from doing hundreds of thousands of DPS. That if you think that, you're an idiot. They can nerf fire at will. They can nerf the plasma consoles. They'll probably do all that. They can nerf feedback. There's been so much power creep for everything that Aponte here just recently, though there was that little bug, that build still is doing over 200k with Drain. Tanky has been doing Drain. I started messing with it. They ain't gonna nerf Drain. They just buffed it. There's plenty of other builds out there that are not fire at will that will still be doing 200-300k DPS. So if that's what you're hoping this bounce pass fixes, you're gonna be really sad.
Sorely disappointed. I agree with SOB. No matter how much they nerf, no matter how much they change, players like us will figure out, we'll find something new. This has always been the case.
Anytime we see a nerf that is directed at the high end, it comes down to affect the more casual players more. So I think some things will probably happen to fire at will, but I don't think they're going to go out and nerf it hard. They don't really have a reason to. I mean, cannons are already competitive to FAW outside of ISA. And really, if they nerf FAW, they'll just make like the pug experience even worse than it already is, where we're outperforming people so much, we're giving people AFK penalties quite often.
All right, but seriously, on that line though, I mean, you can't really nerf FAW in and of itself. There are a couple things that do need to be fixed with it, but as far as nerfing FAW, realistically, what can you do to nerf FAW directly? There's so much power creep in this game right now that FAW, by its nature, directly benefits the most off of it because of the way the game is designed. A lot of low hit point, multiple targets flying around everywhere, and if you're firing with beam arrays, you can hit all those targets all at once.
Well, it's also the fact that you see people saying, fire at will and beams, they're OP. Well, they're the only thing a lot of ships can do. I mean, you hit them. What are you going to do on the Excelsior? What are you going to do on the Galaxy class? I mean, you can't really make these cannon boats. Not easily.
The problem is not just FAW in itself. I mean, FAW is not a problem. FAW is already pre-nerfed. Let's get that set out in stone right there. FAW is already nerfed compared to all the other weapon multipliers out there. What it is that there is a synergy between a lot of different things that makes it seem like FAW is overpowered, and people just focus on the FAW itself. But there's the power transfer, just the stacking of the different categories of damage buffs, etc. There's a whole lot of different things going into that, and people just kind of focus and fixate on FAW itself. FAW is not the problem. FAW is one of the weaker weapon abilities out there compared to, say, cannon scatter volley or even rapid fire. It's just FAW works better with the other mechanics, synergizes a lot better with the other mechanics than the other weapon abilities do.
Plasma consoles.
Cannons, single cannons.
Responding to chat, there hasn't been an official word on what's being nerfed in space, but what I can guess is going to happen, I mean, obviously there's going to be something most likely with feedback pulse, but I think it's safe to say we're going to see similar captain ability global cooldowns on the space captain abilities like we saw on the ground captain abilities, where they get a global cooldown that you can't reduce below. That's equal to half of their original base cooldown. So, for example, Alpha has a 90-second base cooldown, and I imagine after these changes, it will have a global cooldown of 45 seconds. So no matter what, you will have that 15-second gap between alphas.
Yeah, and that'll pull down some of the power creep, but not a whole lot.
Well, the go down fighting one would be a bit more significant because go down fighting has a 4-minute cooldown. So we currently have basically 100% uptime with that, with current items we have. A hit to that of a 50% global cooldown means that you're going to have at most that 50% uptime. Minute up, minute down.
And you might be able to get it off maybe twice in an average speed run.
Well, in ISA, we'll still have it just once, but it's going to change a few things that we've been doing. Like, we've been not going for a 0% GDF as of late because we want to get that second GDF using the continuity cooldown reduction. So we have to get it above 10%. So a few things will be changing again. We'll see when the full patch hits.
What about particle gens?
I don't think they're going to really do much to science after they just buffed it all up a bit. I think I could see something happening to some of the temporal abilities, though.
Well, that's a shame.
Well, don't you think they would rein in science just a tad bit if the rest of the bounce pass is to their liking and science is severely overperforming?
Man, that's something
severely overperforming.
It's not something I imagine I would hear. Science overperforming.
But I mean, you look at everything there. Science and temporal combined is just like the big 1-2 punch of the game right now.
For maybe CCA.
Yeah.
CCA, a lot of your control abilities, that's straight science. I mean, we had Ernest who literally did a no weapon 100k plus run, and he really wasn't trying.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's overpowered when you've got, FAW boats and tactical abilities that can get you well over 400k in an ISA run. So to compare that, it's not as overpowered as everybody may seem to think.
Well, all right, but let's put it this way. Those 400k runs, the conditions have to be just right. I mean, literally just right.
They have to be just right for science, too.
Well, yeah, to get over 200, 250, sure, outside of a CCA, yes. But, I mean...
Even to get 150, you have to have a good setup with, the people on your team. They can't be all high DPS, otherwise you're screwed. It has to be basically a pug run. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, it's going to be that way with every class that has the ability to do situational DPS runs. It's just you have to take each one as a case-by-case basis and not say, oh, it's overpowered just because a handful of people can do it.
So then what would make something overpowered versus underpowered then? Is it who uses
or is it
if
just somebody from a 10K group got in and mimicked a build and had no training in the build whatsoever, if somebody went into an ISA with a build like that and broke 200k with minimal effort, then it would be an overpowered build. But builds that have to have coordination, control, knowledge of the map itself, all the mechanics that you're working with, that takes skill. That's not overpowered. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't quite relate, but going back to, like, you mentioned CCA for science builds. We now have CCA on console, and I'm not playing heavily, but I do get on every day, and I run a couple of CCAs for fleet marks, and one of my builds is my science build. And for 10 straight days on my science build, I've taken first place in my science build. On my beam boat, which is something that SOB a couple weeks ago ran a Japori on Elite and gave me a time and a part so we could have a semi way of judging our damage and DPS, but on my beam boat, which is my best ship, I run Japori Elite in about 220, 230 knowing the patrol, knowing where the enemies spawn or whatever, I don't always hit first on that beamboat in a CCA. So, like Proteus is saying, DPS with some builds is totally situational.
True, but CCA is really not a good test for all weapon platforms there because it heavily is biased against energy weapons.
Right.
I mean, the entity has resistance against both kinetic and energy, but it is heavily against energy weapons. So it's not a real metric for energy weapons doing damage against the entity only. Now against the Tholians, yeah, have at it, Hoss. You win. Good game. But going into an overall metric system where you're looking at how do we accurately measure this, Alfie is taking a shot. For those who have not been familiar with this, Alfie has designed 2 maps using the Foundry system, DPS under fire and DPS mark. Now DPS mark will test your solo play DPS, and DPS under fire will test your durability as well as damage output. More for your own survivability and durability, and then how much can you crank out to be able to kill whatever is being thrown at you. Yes, there is still some controversy as far as DPS mark being very FAW friendly, but even with that said, it's still a very good place where you can measure your solo DPS. Now, you will still see, due to different mechanics, you will still see energy weapons, specifically, fire at will builds, doing better in there, but a lot of fast escort cannon builds that can survive will also be able to perform well in there. Unfortunately, I can't in this place because I'm just such a baddie here right now.
You're dying in the breach.
I died in the breach because I'm drawing way too much threat in something that I didn't build to tank or take a hit more than 2 hits. Speaking of with the breach, now that people have been running it to death, and people are going to be, who are using a shortcut, not going to be able to use said shortcut anymore. Aponte, how do you feel about this breach here? We've already had our opinions from the Peanut Gallery here beforehand. We want somebody who's new to the show to be able to give us their opinion of this revamp breach.
Well, when I found out it was coming back for an event, I was glad to find out that it was shortened. But when they said it was going to stay afterwards, I've heard rumors that they're going to bring it back to the original way. Now, if they do that, then I'd actually be very happy by it. I think for an event, a nice short run like that, people have to grind it on multiple tunes. So I think it works out that way. But when it comes back and it's just permanently there, if it goes back the other way, then I'll love it.
So you like the short breach for, tune grinding, but you like the original breach for like an overall gameplay type of map.
Yeah, the breach was one of my original favorites. So yeah, I really do hope they bring back the older version.
Does anybody remember the rewards for the old breach? Was it actually something that people wanted to run and get a good feel for?
No, the rewards sucked. It was just a fun map to play.
Actually, for a while, the marks rewards were really good compared to other things around. You could get, was it 75 marks? Either the Voth reputation marks, or you can take them as fleet marks, which was on elite. So that was, compared to the other queues that we had, that was actually a really good queue, although it was kind of long and people, of course, would mess it up. I mean, how hard is it not to shoot the Fate power core? It's got a question mark on it. Don't shoot it, dumbass.
But my immersion, bro.
I see red. I'm gonna shoot it. Don't use your frickin' noggin. God damn it.
You mean if it has a big question mark on it, I should shoot it? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, thank you, JE. Old breach was Delta Fleet or Dyson Marks plus the Dyson thingy.
I was
So,
outside
yeah.
of that. That's BS.
So yeah, it was actually a really good source of marks compared to the other Dyson Dyson Q, which was something the Spire, assaulting the Spire.
Yeah, I hated that map.
That one was really messed up. It was kind of fun when it was first released, but after Delta Rising and they implemented the the normal advanced elite, it was kind of really messed up and it just never recovered.
It
Didn't
got
they remove
glitched
that?
really bad.
Yeah, it was glitched to the point that you absolutely could not complete it. And I think they removed it.
No, I think it's still in there.
Storming the Spire, yeah, it's still there. Oh, whoopee.
Yeah, Storming the Spire is still there. There's still a couple of us who want to play that one again just to see, but it seems like everybody has to be in the mood for it.
It's actually, if you go in with a team and you're coordinated and you have a good form of communication, or if you don't have the communication, you know what you're going to do ahead of time, it's actually a fun queue. It's one of those queues that actually require players to coordinate. You can't just run around the whole map doing whatever you want, shooting at everything, because you're going to fail. There's actually jobs to do. You need healers, you need tanks, you need people to do DPS at certain moments. You need to know when to break off and head to a certain area, but not the whole team has to break off. Certain people go in this direction, others go in that. And if someone's kind of weak in one area, you have to know when to leave the area that you're defending or doing whatever in and head and back someone up and then come back. So there was that complexity to that. It's probably one of the more complex queues in that regard. But come on, we all know the player base.
It is actually a growing number of people who want to be challenged now, which I'm actually happy for. Because, hey, there's a game, all right, everybody wants to have fun with it too, but within that fun, we don't want things to just roll over and die because it gets boring. We want to be able to say, all right, how can we get better while we're still having fun? We want mechanics that work. We want systems that will give us enough flexibility to be imaginative in our builds or be able to discover something, that not many people are doing. Or if you're running the meta, at least show, okay, whatever the quote-unquote meta is, we can be good playing this. And let skill be the determining factor as far as whether this build is good versus just, all right, slap this thing together here and one person does like 2k DPS and the same person in the exact same ship, 5 months later does 5k, but then you bring somebody else in completely new and they do like 200k with it. Oh well. I just made a wrong turn at Albuquerque, didn't I?
You did.
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
You're bad.
It's one of those queues. I think it's probably the only queue, I'm not sure if there's any other ones, where having a healer or two or three or people that know how to heal is actually beneficial.
Disgusting.
It's weird, eh?
Yeah, well, he loves his healers.
Spencer's all DPS or go home.
They're pretty much useless in the game. Let's be honest. Where do you actually need a healer? Most people can actually self-heal sufficiently to deal with anything that the game throws at them. But for this particular queue, you have the transports, the allied transports, which you have to keep alive. One way of doing that is just throwing out a massive amount of DPS and just wiping everything out. But then you have the danger of if something gets too close to the transport and it explodes and it does kinetic damage, you're killing the transport, you still need to be able to throw heals at them. So It's one of the very few queues. If there's other queues that require healing, I'm not familiar with the latest queues that are out, but as far as I know, it's the only queue that's like that. People correct me if I'm wrong. Not you guys, the guys in chat. They're more knowledgeable.
Yeah, Jay's in chat here. He's a resident mathematician and good guy to know, so.
Wow.
Now, up and coming with this nice little promo box that's going to be released here shortly is some dreadnoughts that Alan had just did a video on 3 of them, including his stupid little dual barrel roll that JZH Nutz has in freaking loop constantly because he can't stop laughing about it.
Awesome video.
Oh, man.
Do a barrel roll.
You know what would probably be only a little bit more funnier than that if you had a cat sitting on top of the damn thing and his freaking hair and tail goes up as if freaking thing does a barrel roll.
Challenge accepted.
Now you're giving them ideas.
Anyway, those damn ships are there, so what the fuck? What's going on with those ships there?
Well,
I mean,
I
good,
actually
bad,
did a
ugly,
summary.
Different.
I did a summary on Reddit. These ships have a few more features than most other ships. The issue is the buff layout is absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's basically the same loadout. Well, it's very close to what we have with the current lockbox ships, and we don't use those because, well, the buff layout is just so bad.
I'm sorry, the buff layout is similar to what?
The current undiscovered lockbox ships. So they have a lieutenant tactical, lieutenant engineer, commander engineer / temporal, lieutenant commander psi, lieutenant psi, and lieutenant commander universal / command.
Oh.
Yeah, the command shouldn't have been on there. It should have been an intel slot.
Well,
Now,
I can
why you gotta say
understand.
command's not going to be there. Why you gotta
That
be
boat
like
is not designed to be a torp boat, bro.
I mean, it can be.
Not
Aponte,
every
back me up.
boat has to be a torp boat, bro.
Right. Well, so why don't they give command to stuff like the Akira then, huh?
Because they don't think about this stuff, bro. They're just putting stuff on there to put stuff on there so they can sell it.
Aponte, what
'Cause-
do you think?
I think it's a challenge to make it a great tour boat. But anytime I see command, that's what I think right away.
And you of all people here, you actually prefer the big ships for torping out and just having fun with torpedoes.
I do. I mean, I started using the Romulan variant of the Chimera, which is a great ship. But then I started going into other ships. I was using the new prototype Dreadnought that obviously he was talking about. The bridge officer layout sucked. But for a tour boat, I made it work, got good numbers out of it. And then my favorite is the Shashar. And these are big ships you wouldn't think about. I mean, you think about torps, you think about more forward firing arc like cannons or dual beams, but I love the big ships for torps.
Man, I see your videos and it's like, damn, here's a guy who's doing a completely different style from what I'm doing. He's getting some damn good numbers. I like this.
And what's funny is anytime I try to manually fire like you, it just goes down.
Well, you know what? I'm happy that somebody actually did something good with it. And every time I see it, it's like, he's going to act. Yeah, he did it. He activated it right here where it should count. Perfect. This is good. There's like maybe one or two that is like, okay, he did the shot wrong on this one, or he fired off a spread biomole when he probably wanted a high yield there, or just the timing. But I would say 99% of the time is like, you nailed it, you nailed it, you nailed it every single time. Putting the right shots out when you need it. And with auto fire, you're probably hitting other targets, the bigger targets, more than what I would be doing at manual fire, because I'm still trying to focus on, okay, I need to be able to put this out on this target here. Let me think ahead on the next one. And I'm not putting constant firepower out on the big targets like I should be.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the differences as well. Is you're going to get those better hits because you're controlling your neutronic when spreads up, obviously, the bio with high yield. But where mine just, whenever something's up, it's going. So there's just more shots on target.
But you see, that is one of those things here. It's a completely different style, completely different class of doing it, but the results are still phenomenal. And I just got to say, SOB, watch out, man, because the day that they make fall, like, not the king of the hill anymore, well, you still got CSV. But still, there will be torp boats coming behind you.
Well, what will you do without the FAW boats carrying you?
Let me see here. Until the stupid amounts of, I don't know, freaking power creep that came up after July. Who's carrying who in freaking Hive? What?
Science is carrying you all.
I remember some runs the other night in Hive Odin where you were, crying about how your torp build's like completely worthless in there now.
Yeah, and you're right, because stuff was dying. Hive is stupidly easy.
It's the same as it was before.
No, it's not.
Nothing has changed.
Except for the TACUs being stupidly weaker and freaking feedback pulse getting juiced up to infinity.
He's got you there.
Yeah.
I know I'm terrible.
I have different memories, but
It's okay. That's
I
why we have
can-
records.
well,
We
I
have records for
remember. I remember the torps being carried, Odin. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. I understand it's a team effort. It's all good. I can live with that. I can completely live with that.
But
why is this thing not dead yet?
Back to the ships here. They're okay. I don't think many people are going to want to buy them. I mean, they're obviously going to be expensive. These are going to be over $1 billion. I mean, you're going to have some people that don't know what they're doing put them up on the exchange for $750, but outside of those people, these, even though the stats aren't that great, it's enough that they'll definitely be up probably 1.2, 1.4 billion when it comes out tomorrow.
And
And
what do you
anybody
think
who
is gonna
pays
be
that price is a fool.
Well,
No, people will pay that.
Yeah, they will
Plenty
pay
of
it.
fools.
The question is, why do you think it's going to be that much of a price hike?
It's new. It's flashy. It's like a ship that was shown. Well, one of them was at least shown on one of the TV shows. Probably not one of the more popular
Enterprise.
TV shows, but I personally loved Enterprise. But still, it's one of the enterprises, an enterprise that we haven't seen much of at all. It's supposed to be a futuristic enterprise, and it's got all the bells and whistles, and it's huge. And there's just so much going for it, even though it's stat-wise probably crap. Well, let's be honest with ourselves here. We're looking at it from our point of view, from our biases. Seating, stats, whatever, are probably going to be crap. Other people are going to look at it. It's like, hey, this is great. We're not all, grizzled old veterans of this game. There are new people. There are people with different preferences. So they might look at it and say, oh, wow, good. This is an upgrade for me, But as always the case, there's going to be some kind of demand. And as long as some kind of demand, people will demand whatever price they want for it. However, price is not going to stay up there forever. I guarantee you the price is not going to be staying up there forever. Because I'm looking at the I'm looking at the exchange right now, and I nearly fell out of my seat. Because I'm looking here, I just did a search for dreadnoughts, and I see the Herald Vaughn dreadnought at 123
Whoa.
million.
yeah, you don't know what's going on there at all, do you? Okay, so the Infinity Ultra Rare box flooded that market for the Ultra Rare lockbox ships. So there's only 2 ships in that box you can choose from. So those are both very cheap. The promo ships, though, they gave an infinity box for those, and it actually increased the price of all of the promo ships up to the value of the most expensive one, the 23rd century Connie D7 Talis. So now all of the promo ships have been selling for 250 to 300 keys.
Whoosh.
Wow.
Crazy.
Economics
Yeah,
101 from a Ferengi. Thank you,
the
SOB.
Vengeance is like dropped in price as well. No, I'm just shocked because the Vault used to be like a billion ISK ship or whatever, billion credit ship. And yeah, it's not 10% of that.
Yeah, it's been at the 100 to 150 mil range now for 3, 4, 5 months.
And that ship had its own problems. The Vengeance is way down in price as well.
Oh, it's a Lobby ship.
All right, but looking at promo ships then, everything from the R&D promo boxes, what do we have here? We have the Shashar, which is what, in the 1.3, 1.5 bill range?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And then we have what, the Anoraks?
About the same price.
Right. Then what's next? The Jemadar one?
Yep.
Around the same price?
Yeah, they're all around the same price.
Yeah. So is it
Because
the
people are
drop
controlling
rate,
the market.
drop rate helping in determining the price on this?
I can tell you right now that part of the issue is this is on Cryptic's side. These ships have been worth over $1 billion EC now for the last 6 months. We can't get them on the exchange because we have this EC cap of 750 keys, or 750 mil. And we can't even do a straight EC trade with people because the value of these is over that $1 billion. So it comes down to the drop rate also. You got that 1 out of 90 drop rate typically, and it's about 1.1%. And you have to factor in the cost of the packs. Like 90 packs normally is costing what, around that 1.5 bill. So they're right around the value of what the drop rate is with the cost of those promo packs. So the price they're at is justified. It's just, I blame Cryptic that we don't see them on the exchange and we don't see people undercutting each other because our EC caps are too limited.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So if there was a way, in your mind, if there was a way to actually have, like, say, a 2 billion cap on the exchange, and these get posted on the exchange, we would actually see some sort of price war going on between the different factions of Ferengi that will start driving the price down a little bit on these.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you just doubled the current value, the current caps on a bunch of things, like if you doubled the EC cap you can have on a character, doubled the exchange selling cap, yeah, you would start to see these pop up on the exchange and you'd see people start undercutting each other. That would actually happen, but in its current state, that's not happening. And I mean, these ships, they're going to pop up tomorrow. You're going to have the dozens and dozens of people that are watching the exchange, buying them up instantly. And if they don't get them, those totally, they don't exist, exchange bots are going to pick them up.
Yeah, because they don't exist.
They don't, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There are no bots in this game. Cryptic has perfect bot detection.
I detect sarcasm.
Hey, Sarcasm, you have one job. One job, damn it.
Oh god, he triggered the Cisco.
I detected it. Now, there is a little bit of a flip side to what you're saying, Spencer, is that doesn't take into account that people are greedy. And, a lot of people will just hoard ships. If they have multiple ships, they will sit at them and sell them one by one just to keep the price up.
Yep.
And it's not just the ships, it's other things as well. And one potential side effect of increasing the cap on credits, whether on the exchange or the personal, is that it will inflate the prices of everything else as people try to get, more money. So potentially it could drive the cost of everything up.
Well, I know on the console side, we've only had one until tomorrow. We've only had one promotional ship, and that was the Jemadar ship. And we do have a cap at 1 billion EC. And I remember them selling for like 500 million EC, and people were buying them up and then turning around and selling them for 750. So even when the promotional ships on our end were able to go onto the market, people were not trying to undercut each other. They were actually buying them up and turning around and selling them for more.
That's the Ferengis. They're trying to control the market.
In fact, one of those guys is in my fleet. So, he's got like 4 billion EC between spread out. But, for us looking at it, because we're getting the Anorax tomorrow. But when I see that, it's instead of it being a lockbox ship or a ship that you can buy with Lobby, we have to buy the R&D packs, or in our case, the DOF packs, the Delta DOF packs. And the economy on console is not enough to where people are turning around and pumping dilithium into Zen. We're actually having to spend real money to buy these packs, and they're 350 Zen a piece. So, you're looking at $3.50 per R&D pack, and I know SB, you said the drop rate was like 1 in 90. Our drop rate for the Jemadar ship felt worse than actual lockbox ships, but that could be just because we're opening up less because we're spending more to open something up. So it's going to be interesting from the console side to see how the promotional ships continue to play on the market and see if it ends up being like PC, where they're above the EC cap and people are having to trade 2 or 3 Lobby ships or whatever for a promotional ship.
What was your tax ship at when that was out?
EC wise?
Yeah.
The cheapest I ever saw one was 500. It averaged around 750.
Jeez.
And I know people who still have them, who didn't put them on the market yet, and haven't opened them. And I know several people who use them as well. One guy got lucky on his second R&D pack, got one. And then somebody else, I think, bought like 120 R&D packs and got one.
So yeah, it's I don't know. Increasing the cap, I don't think is going to do much of anything to improve the prices. Come on, Spencer. Come on, really. Let's be honest with me here. Be honest with the listeners as well. Let's put the cards on the table. Say you put a ship on the exchange for a certain amount, and someone comes and undercuts you. What are you going to do? You are not going to go back and undercut him. You're going to buy his ship and put it in storage to your cells, and then you put the ship you just bought at a higher price.
I mean, you can do that, but personally, I just like to go in and undercut them.
Right. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I'm serious.
That's why you're laughing, right?
That they undercut me by $1 million. They're about to get undercut by 10 to 25.
All right. Who here believes Spencer?
I don't.
If he's telling the truth, he needs to come to console and start selling shit, because we need some big undercutters like that.
I would actually believe SOB only because he's done that to a couple people firsthand, and they got mad. So yeah,
I enjoy the reactions it can cause. But
Salt
Cam,
vampire.
here's the thing: is I can do your method, or I can undercut them and let them undercut me. So if I do decide to buy up their item, I'm buying it even cheaper.
Now, is something and we're going to bring this back full circle here real quick, but there's something that you had said earlier, and while it was a Freudian slip, it actually brings us to something that would be discussed as far as the stow economy for big ships like this promo pack here. You were saying something by accident on the price of keys and not in EC. Why is it that you were listing keys instead of EC? Is it because of the cap? Is it because of the value of keys typically tend to go up slightly?
Well,
Combination of the two?
We've been trading promo ships and large value items in keys now for a while. That's been the issue. It's why I don't think that having them available up on the, increasing the exchange cap would be bad, because we're already selling items at that level. Like I recently just sold a Cheshire for 250 keys. I've bought other promo ships around that price before. That's how that market already works. I don't see why it'd be bad to have, an EC option for more people, because not everyone can be in a trading channel or be on at the times where someone posts that deal in zone chat. I mean, I think you might see some people still buying them up at, $1 billion plus, but I don't think there's that many people out there, loaded with that much EC. I mean, they'd be able to put a dent in the market at first, but if you have a bunch of ships up there at $1.5 billion per, they ain't going to be able to buy them all.
Nope.
All right. I'm going to go and ask everybody here, how much would you actually pay for these? And would you pay a different price on the Romulan or the Klingon, for the Klingon or Romulan ship versus the Federation ship? So we'll start with Aponte. How much would you think you would pay for this R&D promo ship? Klingon, Fed, or Romulan, whichever your favorite is, and would you pay more on one faction or the other?
If I'm going to be honest, I'd probably be willing to go around $1 billion. I just like to collect these things. I don't think it's worth the price it's going to be going for. But maybe just based on look, I actually do enjoy the Romulan one, so maybe I'd be willing to go a little higher on that one.
All right. Mr. Nutz.
If I had it, I would probably pay $1 billion. I would probably turn around and buy them in keys. So I'd probably say, from PC standpoint, probably about 250 keys would be about the highest I'd go. The Romulan one looks sweet, but I'd go. I think the Enterprise J would be the one I would focus on, just because it's the Enterprise and it's been in a TV show.
Protius.
I wouldn't pay more than $500 million for any one of the damn ships, because the goddamn layouts and the freaking stats on those things suck. They're not worth the price, people. If you're looking to buy it for aesthetics, wait until the price drops. That's all I got to say.
Well, we're going to skip sarcasm because he doesn't play much anymore.
Hey.
How much, man? How much?
I'm going to need some Purell, but I agree with Proteus.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks.
SOB.
I'm personally hoping that this being an active promotion, and being it is unfortunately in the R&D packs instead of the Delta packs, because Cryptic doesn't want to flood that market for some reason. I'm probably going to be looking for 1 to 1.2, because that's about where you should see ships while they're actively out on the promotion. Though afterwards, that's when they spike up to 1.4, 1.5 plus.
ZEF.
He's not there. Oh, he's muted.
Oh, he's muted himself. Well, I'm going to see if I could do something for him here. We're going to actually see the thing here for, let me see, ship porn purposes. And we're going to go and we're probably going to go with about 400 and 450, and I'm a casual and SOB sleep, but I would say 400 to 450 million EC, and it looks pretty on my video, so yeah.
That's barrel rolls.
It does a really 3-barrel roll.
Wow, your impression of Alan is sad.
It is sad. It is pretty damn sad. But you know what? It's not as sad as his impression of me.
I don't know. His was pretty spot on, bro.
If he ever sees you in real life, he deserves a free punch.
Yes.
2.
I don't know, man. I was trying to act like a nice Canadian, so.
Wow. Now you're just defending
Apologize
sarcasm.
right now.
I said nice Canadian. Nice Canadian.
Yeah, apologize right now.
There's no such thing as a nice Canadian.
I'm really sorry. I am very, very sorry. I deeply apologize. Please accept my condolences.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, their whole national motto should tell you how nice they are. Their national motto is sorry, not sorry. I mean, seriously? Come on.
Anyway. We were talking about Alan here while he muted himself because he's probably playing a lot of Subnautica, which go check his stream out if you like the Subnautica stuff there. He's got a lot of good shit porn out there, especially a nice fan tribute video that he's done. I don't know about you, but a couple people were, a little bit misty-eyed about that thing there. If you
Misty-eyed?
haven't seen it, go watch it. We'll
Which
include the
video are
link in
you
the
talking
notes.
about?
What?
Because his videos don't make me misty-eyed. They just make me want to use more towels.
Yeah. Clean yourself up, young man.
I already have.
Oh, twice.
I take a shower when I'm done.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Actually, I kind of wish Alan was here because I heard he was getting a little bit of hate for his videos.
Really? I hadn't heard that.
Hold
Who's hating on
somebody-
Alan's videos?
Well, maybe we can get him in and you can describe it to it. But it sounds like some people are upset at him for making those videos.
Interesting.
I think I remember.
There was one person who made a comment about him promoting the Cryptics gambling, thing with the promo boxes. And I'm like, all right, if you have something that you're upset about in this game for whatever reason, and I was guilty of this too myself. So, saying this, I include myself in this one here as well. Bring it up with Cryptic Studios and or Perfect World Entertainment appropriately. Don't take it out on a third party and, chastising them for that when they had nothing to do with that and they're just having fun with it. Seriously.
I just want to talk here.
No, shut up.
Anyone complaining about gambling in STO needs to just walk away. Do they not understand how great the gambling in this game is?
You who are addicted to everything dealing with keys.
As a matter of fact, next week's show should be an intervention for Spencer.
Well,
tried
I'm
that.
sorry.
It wasn't working.
I like looking at the Lobby stacks in my bank, okay? Gambling in this game is great. I wish they would add more of it.
Spoken like a true junkie.
Does this work now?
Oh yeah, there. So Alan, I'm just gonna say something, not to you, but to the haters out there, not the ones that specifically are hating your videos, but the people that have issues with this sort of thing. Do you not understand what YouTube gaming is about? Do you not understand what we YouTubers, the ones who make the content and put them on YouTube, are about? Because, if you have an issue with that, the very simple solution is not watch the videos. And I'm being polite here. What I really want to say is fuck off.
So
Wow,
Wow,
sorry.
I didn't know you were Con.
I was working out some issues and doing a run with Astro at the same time, so I didn't. My mic was off and earphones out. What issue are we talking about exactly?
People hating on you for promoting gambling
Oh, that one tweet yesterday. How about you stop making? How about you stop giving free marketing to Trek Online, and do something about the fucking the paywall for shit? I had a very undiplomatic answer that I wanted to tweet out yesterday, but then I came home and I spent a little time with the girlfriend. And then I came online and I came out with something diplomatic. But honestly, fuck you. Pretty much anyone on YouTube who is doing a Let's Play video or a cinematic video or fucking any video about any goddamn game is free marketing. If you don't like it, unplug your fucking router, throw it out the window, and go back to the fucking Stone Ages. Seriously.
Wow, so much rage.
How dare I use my spare time to do something I enjoy and give back to the community?
Exactly.
How dare I? The audacity, right? How dare I reach into my pocket and pay for like music to go with the fucking videos? Like, jump off, just fuck off.
And
That's all
wait
I
a
got.
minute. I mean, like, come on, dude. I mean, what's worse is that you're actually spending your time
And money.
time and money, and you're spending, hours in front of the computer working and editing and making sure it all works, and then the upload. How dare you?
I know. And the whole point for the videos is like, because we all know the blogs that come out when they announce a new ship, and we get one, maybe two photos of each ship. And I don't know how big the marketing team is over at Perfect World or Cryptic. It doesn't matter. I can tell that with everything going on, they don't exactly have the time to do a video to showcase those ships. Like even the Romulan ship, I had to hold off until like the last minute before I could do that video because there was still work being done to the actual skin of the ship. So I had to kind of do it last minute. Like I did the video Monday night, blog came out Tuesday. And so the whole reason why I started doing, I remember the first ship I did, which was the Jupiter class, and that was a community voted on ship. And the whole reason why I started doing the videos is to give everyone a better look, because people do buy these ships based on aesthetics. And perfect example is the T6 Vestas that came out a couple of weeks ago, the Orion ships. If you were to look at them face value based on the photo, they're not the most aesthetically pleasing ships. But once you get in there and you get like that 360 view and you get an up close look and a much crisper look, you're like, you know what? This ship actually doesn't look too bad. Like we've probably, all of us in here have probably, with the exception of Spencer because he's cheap, we've all probably purchased a ship just solely based on the aesthetic look of a ship. Am I right in that assumption?
Whoa.
I'm flying it right now.
I want to ask, what have I done to deserve this hatred, Alan?
Lots of things.
You exist.
You play the market, dude. You don't spend money on frivolous things.
I actually added up the total I've spent on the game over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's actually, I hate to say it, about $700.
In how
That's
long?
it?
In 4 to 5 years.
That's it?
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Chris.
freaking JZH is like, that's it.
In 6 months, I've spent about $2,000. I don't want to hear it.
Yo,
Spencer.
I got $2,000 you
that.
can give over here, man, for something. You'll still enjoy a good game.
Yes, Protius?
You need to quit being poor.
Well, I don't need to put money into the game that much because I can play the market and get stuff easily.
Oh, that's what happens when you have no job, no life, and no meaning in your life. I mean,
Wow.
that's what
Wow.
happens.
Yo, that's harsh, man. Wow. Like I want to white knight him now and just go, hey, dial it back a notch.
Well, it's not very difficult to get the lithium and stuff daily in the game. Like, I have to go through my characters once a day and spam a few buttons.
You alter for 300
That's
of
not
them.
very difficult.
Okay. Have you ever purchased a ship just based solely on aesthetics? You, Spencer, sorry.
With money?
With whatever currency you have accumulated, however way
Yes.
you accumulated with whatever bots you use. I mean,
I do not bot.
Sarcasm detector.
but yeah, that's my point. Like, there's a lot of people out there who purchase ships based on aesthetics, and that's why I started doing the Fresh Out of Space Stock series, just to give you that up close and personal look. And somebody wants to take to Twitter and be a keyboard warrior and try and like tell me what to do with my free time. No. I know I'm Canadian, but sorry, not sorry. Go fuck yourself.
I have to jump in and say, just for anyone listening, anyone from Cryptic, I do nothing that violates the terms of service.
Yeah, well, your account's already been flagged for review, so.
Also, if you're planning on using the Dreadnought ships, the new ones, like if you're lucky enough to get one, I would maybe invest in the DOFs that reduce the cooldown on evasive maneuvers. Just say.
So
Holy
hold
fuck.
on, Alan. I got a question for you. And hopefully this doesn't step on any of NDAs or stuff like that. But there was a problem with the VOMP. When I was testing out the VOMP, the ship was so bloody big that I actually had to change the point of view, the POV, to be able to see. Do these ships have a similar problem? Are they so big that they completely block your sight?
Leaving at default, I was able to zoom out enough to do the battle shit that I had to do at Starbase 24 for the video. I wasn't able to take it into ISA because I had to keep it on the DL. But no, you should be able to handle it okay on the regular default. I guess it's everyone's preference, really, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to do a live stream on Trouble with those?
I have been given the okay to do a short live stream tomorrow after they've been officially released, but I will have to do them on Tribble because that's the only place I have them. So we can do a more whatchamacallit?
In-depth size
yeah,
review,
like I know
ISA
people
run.
wanted size comparison and all that. Last Odin, are you still in Soul Space?
Negative. I'm in Onra.
Wait, I want to just say, if anyone wants to compare the size, you can just jump into what's that mission in the Future Proof arc, the Ragnarok mission.
Part
You
5?
can just
Yes.
yeah, you can just jump in there and go right up against the Enterprise J in there just to get a size comparison.
Yeah, I have confirmed that. Like, I took the my Tribble Enterprise J into that mission, and I went and I parked beside it and above it, and the size is the exact same. So
Oh, nice.
if you can't wait and you want to go see the size comparison with your favorite ship, load up that mission. Oh, fuck, what's it called again?
Ragnarok.
Is that what it's called?
Wasn't it Battle of Procyon 5?
That's
That's the STF.
STF. Yeah, so load up the mission Ragnar. What the hell is it?
Ragnarok?
Ragnarok. Fucking weird ass name. And then just fly over in the distance. Like, I would suggest pointing your nose upwards and going above and beyond all the battle if you're in a hurry. And then just go line up beside the Enterprise J over there. And that'll give you a very good size comparison.
Did you just tell the people to turn their nose up at the ship?
No.
All right. So aside from a nice torp boat build off of this thing here, what else do you guys see this thing being
now
used
A hood ornament?
I
Barrel
actually
rolls.
was looking at some build options for it. It's going to be difficult to work with that bridge officer layout, but I think it might be an interesting thing to have, especially like when we're going into the hive runs, just to have one of these in there with us. Even if it's not the main tank, I think that the power buffs it has and all that will still help the team out a bit. Though the question is, for a support type ship, is it going to help more than a recluse? That's the question
Probably not.
we will find out tomorrow, and yeah, probably not.
I mean, it would have to buff subsystem power and PTR to such stupid levels in order to be able to replace a freaking recluse.
Yeah, so I mean, we have the trait on holodeck right now. It's just a visual bug. You can't actually unlock it. Aponte tested it earlier. But if you have the Talaru, you can actually hover over the trait it unlocks on the mastery page, and it shows this trait. And the trait isn't that good.
What is the trait?
Here, I'll link it again in Discord, Odin, if you want to show it on the stream.
Well, we'll try.
I'm going to do my breach run and not blow up 5 times like Odin did.
Hey. I never said I was good.
I don't think anybody's ever said you were good.
Holy fuck.
Look at records.
This show rated M for mature, by the way. Just putting it out there.
Yeah,
When the
I'll be sure to
Canadian
slap
is
it
dropping
on.
F-bombs every third letter, or every third word, you know, shit's
Well,
cray cray.
geez, you know, this used to be a kid-friendly show until, you know, we started doing it at night.
And then shit hit the fucking fan.
Yeah, thanks, Con. Thank
Wait,
you.
wait.
We'll
And
pour
what's,
drink for
what's
you.
this I hear that you were trying to impersonate me?
Trying is a very, very loose word.
Very
I have
loose.
to listen to playback on this shit.
Yeah, you're going to want to find him in real life and hit him in the head.
Twice.
That bad, eh?
Yeah, it's really bad.
I just can't do you, man. That's all good.
It's
I do a mean Odin, though.
Yes.
you
He said you don't, but I told him you were spot on. With...
Oh, I need a little bit more bass. And I can only do... oh, by the way, MX Phoenix, he's Canadian as well. He says we have free healthcare, we can take it. But yeah, I don't have the bass. And I can only do like the show intro that Odin does.
Well, let's put it to you this way, Alan. His impression of you sounded more like a 13-year-old boy playing World of Warcraft in his mother's basement.
Oh, so something along the lines of, okay, guys, I got my World
That
of
was it, that's
Warcraft
it.
level 100.
Pretty much.
That's it.
Jesus Christ.
It was almost right on the fucking money, dude.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the show, Trek Wednesday.
Oh, you're so bad. You're so bad.
Better than your impression.
Yeah, but I can do a better black guy than you can do a better white guy, so.
Wow. On so many levels, wow. Anyway, JZH, after that remark, can you give us some console news, please?
The positive first. Marks weekend, bonus marks this weekend. Should help people finish up some of those new queues that we've been running. Our new reputations, Temporal, Nakara, and Terran. Cryptic re-announced that console players can link their accounts to ARC and get the con uniform. PlayStation has had that since the very beginning, but apparently Xbox didn't. And according to the tweet, now Xbox can get it as well. This is all assuming that you actually have a free uniform slot. Otherwise, because of how the tailor is on console, you'll have to buy another uniform slot to actually use it.
So what you're saying
seriously?
is Xbox players can't get it now?
They can't get it. Supposedly, I don't
I
have an
can't
Xbox.
believe it.
I don't have an Xbox, so I can't check it out. We're getting the Anorax through the Delta DOFs from March 9th, which is tomorrow, beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific, running through April 14th.
9 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Pacific?
Pacific. So
Specifically Pacific?
specifically Pacific.
All right, just checking.
Along with that, though, 4 duty officer packs are leaving the Sea Store. That's the Romulan Survivor duty officers, the Fleet Support, the Reinforcements, and the Gamma Quadrant. They left prematurely. If you tried to buy them last night, they were not available. I didn't check today when I got on to see if they were back, but they're not supposed to have left yet. So they're supposed to leave. All Cryptic said was soon. Other than that, we're still having technical issues on the console side. Specifically, the temporal transponder is still not working. Come Monday, we'll have AOI for 4 weeks. And we can't check our progress with our AOI characters to see what we've done so far. So Cryptic says they're aware of the issue, and they say that it's tracking the progress. Obviously, some of the progress, like your R&D, your DOFs, and your level is pretty obviously there. It's just none of the account-wide stuff is unlocked, except the weekly bonuses, which we've been getting. Along with that, I mentioned the Taylor not working quite right. And turn rate, if you're in an escort, you turn like you're in the Kelvin Intel Dreadnought without any RCS consoles. And that's with RCS consoles on. Turn rate's pretty broken right now. And then, of course, we still have the myriad of other little bugs. But with that, we're seeing not a lot of people on, at least on PS4. I can't speak for Xbox, population-wise. We've talked about this on my Monday night show, where we were in Earth Space Dock a week and a half ago, and we maybe had 150 people, 200 people on during primetime hours on the East Coast who were actually in Earth Space Dock. And then we checked the queues, and there was about a total, I think we added them up, it was about 22 people in the queue, queued up for a queue. But of those, it looked like there was a couple of groups of 4. So there could have been 22 people queued up or 30 people queued up, or there could have been 2 or 3 groups of 4 people queued up for the same queues. So with all the problems on the console side, we're seeing a population drop and not as many people playing the game, which is kind of hurting.
Huh, I am shocked. I am shocked.
I'm
Really?
appalled.
All these bugs that just, they're not being fixed. They're going week after week. That is just simply astounding.
I've never heard of such a thing.
It's not that never happens on the PC side. Never, ever.
There was something interesting that, when you put your show up on Reddit, and there was a comment that you made on there. I would like for you to discuss this on here, please, because this is something we've seen beforehand, and it still has me scratching my head that this type of mentality still exists. Just give us a brief as far as what you were hearing as far as a response from some of the PC crowd when you were saying that console was having some issues, and the folks on the forums were from the PC side were saying one thing, console was saying something else. PC came back on it. Can you give us a brief on what was going down with that?
Well, to give a little bit of a backstory, what I finally did was I went on the forums and I wrote a forum post. They just recently split up in the support side, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. One guy posted about the achievements being bugged because we care about trophies on console. And so I just made a short list of bugs that I knew of specifically: turn rate, temporal transponder, the Taylor, the cloak doesn't work properly, and a couple of other things. A couple other people joined in, wrote, added to the list basically. And basically, the response from some people from the PC side, and how we know, or how we assume they're from the PC side, is they have, 3,000 posts on the forums. Is basically get over it. PC side's been dealing with it for 6 years. Welcome to Star Trek Online. Blah, 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 blah. And it's the same on Reddit. And my response to that is I've played MMOs for 15 plus years. I know there's going to be bugs. I know there's going to be issues. I don't expect the game to work 100% perfectly all the time. And I also know there's going to be issues that are always going to be there. The example I used was when we're running Echoes of Light. Even though that's new on console, you get into K13 for the first time, you're glitching through the walls, the Nausicaans are getting stuck in the walls, whatever. It's not game breaking. It's kind of comical. You end up dying once or twice because the guy's shooting at you through the wall, but you can't shoot him. It's whatever. But when there's certain bugs, it's been out now 6 months on console. When there's certain bugs like Cloak, when you go into Cloak in a queue that doesn't have an activation, where you board disconnected, where you're trying to save a queue, and you go into Cloak, and all of a sudden you can't get out of Cloak, so you're glitched. And the only way to get out of Cloak is to die. We don't have that black hole queue yet where we can just run ourselves into the black hole and die. We have to run around, try to get close to a ship that's about to explode, and hope to God when it does, we get killed by a warp core breach. And that Cloak bug, that issue, has been around since day one. When you have a Taylor bug where before it was worse, they quote unquote fixed it, but now if you fill your 2 or 3, however many base uniform slots you have, you can't actually change out of that uniform into a different one. You have to buy another slot. It takes away the space Barbie aspect of the game unless you turn around and spend real money, or you convert dilithium to Zen or whatever. And then the turn rate, which was broken on and off for the first 2 or 3 months of the game, now it's been broken again for a month. People don't want to fly escorts. It's not the bioneural warhead, which doesn't work on console right now and hasn't since the beginning. You just don't use it, right? You just don't use the bioneural warhead. There's people who have spent a lot of money, just like I have on my Beam cruiser builds, on their cannon and Beam escort builds, and they can't fly their ships. They can't play the game. Or if they do play the game, they're severely handicapped, and it's not enjoyable. And so, like in my fleet, I have a bunch of guys who fly escorts. In fact, the guy who does the show with me that I do on Monday night, he flies escorts. He just won't play because he can't fly his ship. To me, that's a serious problem that Cryptic, in my mind, would be it would be well for them if they came out and just to even acknowledge the problem in the first place.
Yeah, but you guys are barking up the wrong tree because you guys have an advantage that PC doesn't. Because if enough console players wrote their concerns into Sony and Microsoft about the game being too glitchy and too bugged out to play, they would then in turn get on Cryptic and PWE to improve their games so that their console players can enjoy the process of playing the game. Because Sony and Microsoft, they don't play too well with game companies that put out buggy material and keep them buggy.
Right, and that's actually the process that several of us are starting. It's not, but the problem is it's not as simple It's just sending. I mean, we could mail them a letter. They do have an email you could send it to. So we are beginning that process.
It's going to be a fight. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, and we know
6
that.
years on Stowe, we've had so many issues that still aren't fixed.
Right, and again, you know, and I understand what the PC guys are saying. I get it. I did play on PC on and off for several years. By no means was I any good on PC, but and I get it. I think the issue that console players have, especially on the forums, and I think this is one of the reasons why they split up the forums the way they did, was because a console player would write a bug report like the support ticket tells you to do, right? You know, this is an unreported bug. Please list it on the forums. So they go into the forums and they see 30 other turn rate posts, but they make their own, just like the support ticket said. And somebody from the PC side comes in and basically tells them to get over it. Which then, of course, the console player gets pissed off. And then it becomes basically a verbal, you know, a text shouting match in this forum post, and it doesn't benefit console, it doesn't benefit PC. And it creates a divide in the community. And the thing is, I mean, STO is established on PC. Yes, you're getting new players in, but you have an established base. Like, all you guys are established. You've been playing this game for years. There's other groups of players. On console, and I've said this before, I think I said this the first time I was ever on the show, console players, and fickle's the wrong word, but console players can be fickle. If we're playing a game, especially a free-to-play game, whether we've put money into it or not, and it's broke, and everybody knows it's broke, and everybody goes and complains that it's broke, which means we know Cryptic knows about it. And then there's no communication. Somebody actually said this on the Reddit post about he compared Destiny and The Division. When Destiny came out eons ago, Destiny was broke to hell. Bungie went back, eventually started to communicate with the player base, and they fixed it. The Division was the exact opposite. It took them basically a year almost, or not a year, 6 or 7 months to get it to the point where it was playable again. And the player base had already moved on. No Man's Sky is another example. They're finally starting to fix it 5, 6, 7 months later. But on PC the player base may be there, but is it on console? No, it's not, because console players move on. And here's the thing: on console we have Horizon Zero Dawn that just came out. If you've been watching my YouTube channel, I've bombarded you with streams every night of Horizon Zero Dawn. We have Mass Effect coming out in, a week and a half?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the MMO front, we have Elite Dangerous coming to PS4 Q2, probably around Father's Day in June. Console players who want to play a space-based combat game will shoot over to something like Elite Dangerous, which has had good customer support, has had issues that have been ironed out publicly, where they can pay their $40, $50, $60 one time and be able to get everything in game except vanity items, versus playing a free-to-play game that's buggy, doesn't work, and there's no communication, that they have to pay X amount of money or spend X amount of time in-game watching the market and playing those odds. Versus PC players who will, who could find a game, stick with it, deal with the bugs, and say whatever. And so I love Star Trek Online. I think the potential that's there, even on console, if stuff can get fixed and some of the UI can change a little bit, is great. But on PC, you have a parser, so you can chase DPS. Your Taylor works, I guess. So you can space Barbie your character. You can do whatever to your ships. On console, what do we have? We can't really chase DPS. Thanks to Spencer, we kind of have an idea by running Japori Elite, but we don't have numbers. We can't, and we don't have a way to determine what's working, what's not. We can't really tweak our ship beyond a time that we're shooting for in a specific patrol on Elite. And with the Taylor broken, those people who just want to look pretty, they can't do it unless they're going to shell out real world money to open up a uniform slot. And then the only thing that we've heard about from Cryptic that they acknowledge is actually broken is the temporal transponder, which is an integral piece to our latest update of Agents of Yesterday, which came out just over 3 weeks ago.
There's a couple points I want to make here. In regards to the PC players on the forum, the PC players are going to gatekeep. And by that, I mean, a lot of us are jaded. A lot of us have been playing this for years and thousands of hours, and we've had to put up with all kinds of shit, all kinds of bugs. Hell, there was this one time, I don't know if you've ever heard about it, where Fall was broken for 6 months. Just plain messed up, broken, all the procs, it was messed up for 6 months. They just decided they weren't going to fix it. And this is the stuff we've had to put up with. And we see the console come out with similar problems, or sometimes exactly the same problems that we've had. I mean, that cloaking bug is a bug that still exists in the PC version to this day. And it's just like, okay, well, tough luck, welcome to the club. And it's just gatekeeping. It's just how the players are. In regards to Cryptic, Cryptic would, like, we've seen this for so many years. Cryptic would rather push out content, and I'll use quotes. I'll put quotes around the content because they believe that an actual ship releases content, be it or be it not, whatever. I'm not of that opinion. They'd rather, push the content that's got a higher priority than fixing any old bugs that they have. And this has been going on for years and years and years. So I know this might sound crass, but don't hold your breath.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and again, but see how you just said about the cloaking bug, for example, how you explained it, right? Your point of view on the issue, to me, is the way that somebody should have explained it over the past 6 months, instead of just saying, get used to it. Because console players have no idea that same cloaking bug is in PC, right? So,
yeah, it goes back to gatekeeping for the PC player.
Right. And so, but like now that you've explained the fact that the cloaking bug is actually in PC as well, well, we know it's never going to get fixed. I think most of us assumed, even without knowing that it would probably never, ever get fixed. But I think the way
it's still a
lot
rare
of people,
bug.
Right.
It's a rare bug on PC. It doesn't happen all the time. I'm not sure what the frequency is on the console, but for the PC, it's every once in a while you'll get stuck in cloak, and it's annoying as hell.
Right. I think if you sit there and just go into cloak, it's probably about 5% of the time. But nobody sits there and just goes into cloak, as far as I know.
I do. I have a cloaked torpedo boat that does nothing but fire from cloak. It's kind of fun.
So one way to do, like you said, is to die or like run into some explosion and die. Another thing that I found out is if you pick up something, if there's loot anywhere, like a loot box floating in space, and you go and pick it up, that will decloak you as well.
Yeah,
Well,
any conversation interaction will do it.
well, our problem though is our loot's automatic. We don't have an option. No, and again, I think there is a lot of us who do appreciate the fact that PC players have been dealing with bugs, the same bugs for years. But I also think too that for Cryptic's sake, something for STO to survive on console. I think bare minimum, Cryptic needs to come out and say something. Not necessarily specifically about this bug and this bug, but respond with more than just sarcasm when somebody asks about is something getting fixed. Because console players won't stick around. And for whatever reason, there's that difference between, maybe it's because there's just more people who play on PC versus console. I don't know the numbers. I won't pretend to know the numbers. But I don't know how dismal the population has ever gotten on PC, but I do know right now the population in game playing on PS4 is about half of what it was before AOY released 3.5 weeks ago.
JHC, I want you to sit down and hold on to something. What I'm about to tell you might be a bit shocking, but the communicativeness of Cryptic right now is absolutely fantastic. This is the best it's ever been in years.
Holy God, yes.
You
remember those one-line patch notes?
Oh boy.
19,000 things changed, 2 lines in the patch notes, one of them about a costume.
And the other one was improved game performance related stuff.
I mean, how many episodes have we done of the show where we've gone off at them because of their communication? How long have we been doing this show?
I could say 2015 was that.
Yeah.
2015.
And it used to be, and that's also one of the good points, because it used to be even worse before that. It used to be really, really bad. Some of the older executive producers were just, oh man, I remember setting the forums on fire at one point because of how Delegate. That was a horrible incident there.
I will say this, when trying to do some research on some of the powers and weapons that had changed over time, I noticed that there was up to about, I guess, just a bit after Legacy of Romulus, there was less detailed notes in there constantly that compared to where pre-Legacy of Romulus and then Legacy of Romulus and then the changes immediately after LOR was released, you would see detailed patch notes down to the nth degree. I mean, they were spelling everything out, so there was no ambiguity whatsoever. X Power did this, here's the explanation for it, here's what we expected to interact with, blah, 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 blah. So if there was a bug report, it was straight up detailed, this does not work with this ability in this way, because this is the way that you said it should work. And case closed. And then for a while, we couldn't even figure out which way was up, because we were making assumptions based off of how we think the game should interact. And one of my standout moments was with Bordicus, when we were trying to explain to him, hey, we're seeing this oddity here where High Yield 1 was taking precedence over all these other torpedo powers. Should it be this way? And I was explaining it based off of what I was seeing in the interactions that I was having when he was chaining it. He's expecting something else based off of what he was told, or if he was kindly left a manual to read, what the manual said disagreed with what was actually happening in game. And then after a couple of videos and him and I going back and forth on Reddit, he was like, oh crap, well yeah, this is definitely wrong, we need to fix that. And it was done. Although not exactly the way he wanted it done, it was just done. So, but now, yes, Sarcasm was not being sarcastic in saying that it is loads better compared to what it was in 2015 and 2014 and probably 2013. I wasn't around for that time period there.
Well, I think even over the past 6 months, they've gotten better, at least on the console side, with communication. When it first came out, there was no communication. Like, you'd say this is whatever, and you'd hear absolutely nothing. And they've gotten better. I haven't seen anybody respond to anything on Reddit, I think, in the past week, but every now and then you'll have a developer or Ambassador Kill will come on and say something. So even from the console side, I think over the past 6 months, we've seen communication increase. It might not be the communication that people want, but communication is definitely a change from what we were experiencing even 6 months ago. I think what I'm hearing from console players is that what they want is they want Cryptic to take our list of what we believe are known issues and basically turn around just like they did with the temporal transponder when they said, look, known issues in the update, temporal transponder doesn't work. And basically for them to do the same thing with what we're saying are known issues, I think mainly just so that we know that at least Cryptic acknowledges that these problems do exist. And I think that from a console player's perspective is the hardest thing to kind of chew on, is that we're telling them these problems, and we all know the support ticket thing doesn't work. But we're telling them these problems. We're posting on the forums. I've posted actual videos and pictures. I know other people have too. We post on Reddit. And I think if Cryptic came out and said and acknowledged that, hey, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this is broken, this doesn't work, I think the console player base would feel a lot better.
It's never going to happen.
No, and I know that, and so does a lot of other console players who I've had. I can't tell you how many people over the past week have told me, look, I'm never playing it again because, they don't have faith in Cryptic, which, whatever, but
none of us do.
Right, nobody. That's why I tell you, nobody does.
But yet we still keep coming to this game. And some of us actually do have some sort of hope in there, like maybe one day they'll get it. Maybe one day they'll fix it. Maybe one day they'll do something to it.
Most of us play this game simply because of the IP, not because of the game itself. It's because it's Star Trek, plain and simple.
Well, that's why I'll always, I might not play it 24/7 all the time, but I will always, come back to it and do this or do that. And don't know if I'll spend any money anytime soon, but it's Star Trek, and it is the Star Trek IP for video games.
Yeah, I think at this point, if they were gonna put in all the known issue bugs that they had in the known issues section, you would have like hundreds and hundreds of pages long, the thread for that. I think what we're understanding right now is the known issue section is stuff that they're actually looking at or planning on fixing. That's how I understand it.
Right, and I think that goes back to stuff like the turn rate, where all these people who fly escorts would like Cryptic to say, known issue, temporal transponder doesn't work, and underneath that, turn rate is broken, or whatever technical term they want to use. That way, they have hope that at least Cryptic knows about it. They are looking at it. It might not get fixed for a month. I mean, it's already been a month, but it might not. It might be a 2-month process like it was before. But at least we have documentation saying that they know about it and that they're looking into it, and that someday, as long as it's possible, it will be fixed. And we haven't seen. I think I did have a guy in my fleet when Cryptic did the live stream for AOI on console. He wrote in chat, "What about the turn rate bug?" And whoever was being interviewed at the time said, "Oh, we're looking into that." And that's the only thing besides Ambassador Kale on Reddit saying, "Have you seen my inbox?" That's the only 2 acknowledgments that we've had on the console side about the turn rate specifically. Which, it's a major problem for a lot of people who play the game on console.
I think another issue here is that they focus more on getting new people than retaining people. It's what it seems like to me anyways.
Well, it makes sense because once especially on console, because we come into this with 6 years of you guys' experience. So we know we need the Astika, we know we need Intel Kelvin Dread, we know we need this ship and that ship and this ship for these traits. So, we can basically, if we're going to spend money, for example, we can do it with a plan versus having to experiment. And so what did Cryptic do on console? Well, all those ship traits have been released in 6 months. All the top DPS ships, except a couple, have been released in the first 6 months. Now we're getting the Anorax. I think the only other 2 ships that are prominent ships that we don't have the Zol yet for Invincible, and we don't have the Paradox yet. But my assumption is we're going to get those 2 probably over the next 2 months. And so for those of us who've been playing since the beginning, in a real sense, we've spent the money that we need to make our ships and our builds look like a lot of these builds from PC players. New players coming in haven't obviously done that yet. And so I could agree with that statement 100%, that it's more geared for newer players than necessarily long-term retention.
All right, summarizing all of this here then, if there was one distinct message you want to send over to somebody listening over at Cryptic Studios right now, 5 seconds, do it.
Give us a list of known bugs that they're actually working on.
Done.
Oh, can I also ask for that for the PC as well?
Right?
Well,
I would appreciate that as well. Yeah.
Now, with the balance pass, isn't there some sort of hope that's saying that some of these issues would be addressed then with that?
Really?
Not holding my breath.
But I mean, there is the possibility that could actually happen, though.
You got a
More
better
likely-
chance at No Man's Sky being a multiplayer game.
More likely new bugs are going to be created than anything else.
I will take my chances. But, you know, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'll take my chances. I'm being a
More than
realist
likely.
here. You know, as a gamer, you know, who has sunk money into this game beforehand, is like, I'm hoping for the best, but, you know, push comes to shove, I'm going to shove.
No, I think what we're going to see is a brand new game, or well, not a brand new game. We've played this game before. We just find out all the undocumented changes.
All right, wrapping this thing up here because I'm sure everybody would love to be able to go and play STO and a couple other things going on inside the game as well. What is this thing here? Artwork in the community. I know somebody put this in here, but...
Oh, that was just a couple of links that I saw. The first one is a link. Somebody made Wonder Woman using the outfit options available in STO. I thought it was pretty cool. And the second link is Twitter to somebody who does like really awesome screenshots using demo record, and then they do some editing after. So there's a link to a tweet to one of the T6 Vestas that she did a screenshot of, and then a link to her DeviantArt page that has a lot more of the STO work screenshots that she's done. Really amazing stuff.
We will definitely include those in the notes and make sure that the links get some love. I'm sure you don't mind if we like start spam retweeting it, right?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, and SOB, this bastardized ship build, I know you're watching. This bastardized ship build is my old Team 5U Defiant with all the trimmings, except now it's got quantum phase and not the neutronic console on there because I got Leech on there because I'm, you know, a baddie. I actually put Leech on a ship. Even though I kept all my freaking torp settings and no cannon settings whatsoever. But yeah, I'm a baddie. Still there. Deal with it. Which is very similar to what somebody posted on one of the STO ship builds Facebook group. They had their Defiant T6 version, all DHCs. Another person had a variant where they had torpedoes fore and aft, and somebody said, well, that's a DPS loss. And I would say no, and not because I'm a torp guy, but because we also had another guy named Corbin, for those of you who remember who Corbin was, when the DPS race was hot during Delta Rising. He had a dual beam bank and neutronic torp loadout, and he was rocking some serious numbers with that on his escort. So if you are willing to put in the time to be able to practice and use your abilities properly, you can have this type of loadout, or literally a generic, what we call the cryptic loadout, from a ship, and depending on the ship and the buff layout, you could be able to use every single ability that would buff every single weapon on that ship and do at least 50k DPS. Asher could probably do 100 just spinning around in circles, so. But you can have a cannon loadout, you can have torps, you can use a mine, you can still get good. You don't need to spam spacebar.
The hell you say?
Sir, I do say you do not need to spam spacebar. That was not my Alan impersonation. But anyway, closing remarks, aside from get good spam spacebar.
See you in Andromeda in 2 weeks.
Shut up, Proteus. You're playing No Man's Sky right now.
I'm testing a new update.
Uh-huh. Right. Okay.
Yes, there will be a bunch of us who'll be doing simul streams of Mass Effect Andromeda when it comes out. So if you like that type of game and you want to see all of us pretty much doing our own whatever choice / explore this corner of the universe / who gets the romance Tally first, because we all know Proteus has this huge crush on Tally, right?
Yeah, but she's not in Andromeda, so none of you get to do it. Ha ha!
Bruh, I was already over in Andromeda, all right? I'm bringing Tally
No,
over there.
your penis was in Andromeda.
Why you always got to do that for? Why? Seriously. Seriously. I'm going to have Astro
'Cause I
check
can.
you, man. You got a fetish of some sort, and it's a little bit sick.
I just enjoy triggering you.
Whatever, y'all. But yeah, so anyway, simultaneous streams of Mass Effect Andromeda is going to go out. Sarcasm's still doing his art thing. JZH, what was that other game that you were doing over there? I can't remember the name, but it looked pretty damn cool, especially with a tactical map layout.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Check that out. Aponte is going to be giving us... Well, I got his channel already. It's going to be in the show notes here. Aponte, you doing any other games aside from STO, or are you still going to be doing more streams of STO?
No, I'm still loyal to STO for now.
I'll be sure that, you know, we'll find some sort of Santa Claus to get you a big ship. You can go play Dreadnought torpedo ship with it. I'll fly from the underbelly and just, like, drop a bomb or two somewhere.
Is ME going to be multiplayer, or is it single player only?
Single player campaign, multiplayer horde modes, and they've alluded to the possibility of strike team multiplayer in your campaign where you can invite your friends to come help you with the strike team things.
Similar to what Borderlands has, maybe?
Something like that, yeah. But that's what we're hoping anyway.
Yeah, if it's
But the
Borderlands,
multiplayer horde mode is going to be good.
Interesting.
Looks good.
I might actually pick up that game at some point.
You might have to. But then you'll be forced to hang out with us.
You guys are all right, but Proteus gives me the creeps.
Even though you agreed with him twice tonight.
The feeling is mutual,
unprecedented
sarcasm.
I still feel dirty about it.
You two can go get a shower.
Not only do I need Purell because of that, I need to shower with antibiotic soap now. Thank you.
Oh, please do.
You're one to talk, Moose Lover.
All right. Those two need a room, so we're going to end the show now before they start, you know, hugging and making out on the stream, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, wait. You know damn well that if me and Sarcasm are on the same show, the viewership goes up. Just saying.
It actually did go up by 1. So, yeah, thanks. Thanks very much. Good night, folks. Have a good day. We'll see you out there. Peace.